Identifying.
The king of cakes. Choppa for the win.
G'day guys, welcome back to Cakes by Choppa. Today we have Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear was one of my niece's favourite cartoon characters as a kid, so Bri, I hope I did him justice. I've used a large baking tray to cook this cake, and placing the template on top, I've cut it out, then using this leftover section to cut out the bottom jaw and nose that Pooh Bear has. Then just shape it down from his nose. Pick the centre part and then just taper it off so you've got like a rounded face shape of Pooh, and use the offcuts to place where his eyes would be so it doesn't just drop off. You want it to taper down to his forehead. Then you're going to fill it with buttercream and then place the cake back together and then cover it with a crumb coat or a dirty ice, whichever you like to call it. Then pop that aside and get ready to colour your fondant. If you don't have a buttercream recipe, be sure to check this one out. This is my recipe, and I think it's amazing for this type of cake. I use it for pretty much everything. It's delicious. You can add flavours to it. It's just awesome. Okay, so I've pre-coloured some fondant, and I use the baking paper because it helps it to stop sticking. And then lay it over the cake, pushing it in gently. I did this fairly thin, so I did get a little bit of folding and it's not as neat as I would like it. So if you want to just leave your fondant a little bit thicker, then you'll get a smoother result. With the offcuts, I cut away any that touched the buttercream and then rolled it into a ball and helped smooth out the fondant. Now with the knife, I'm going to just score off where his ear marks would be and put in the detail of his mouth, because I'm just going to paint this on with some gel food dye. Now I got a skewer and went over those lines just to make him a bit more detailed, and then marked out his nose and where his eyes would be and his nose lightly. With the offcuts, I just rolled a long piece and trimmed off the edge, because I think it's a nice border. You don't want anything that's going to take away from Pooh Bear too much. And then shaped out pieces for his nose and his eyes. I kept the template next to me to measure the right size. I did make his eyes a little bit bigger because I think it looks better on the 3D version. Now with some gel food dye, just painted in his mouth and using red for his tongue. Then you're going to just paint in the lines, because Pooh Bear is very cartoonified. So I didn't do these pieces in fondant because I really wanted to keep that cartoon look. Keep your lines nice and neat, because this is the final product of your cake. So how well you do those lines is how it'll look at the end product. When you do the eyes and nose, be sure to let them dry. I put them on whilst wet and it was a little bit tricky, but if you just give it 15-20 minutes and they will dry, you can place them on later and it'll look much better. Fill in the rest of the detail. And while I got this opportunity, I'd like to thank everybody for coming over to Facebook and Twitter and interacting with me. It's so much fun seeing your cakes, your comments, and answering all your questions. So thank you guys. If you haven't already been, check out facebook.com/CakesByChoppA. Once you've placed on his nose and his eyes, just go and fill in the rest of the detail. I almost forgot his chin, so be sure to give it a once over and look that you've got all the detail right. It's easy to forget something. This is where I just did it in his eyebrows, and you'll see there's no chin. So I showed you that. That's him done without any airbrushing. So he looks great as a plain fondant cake, but if you want to take it that one step further, if you've got access to an airbrush kit or the tins of spray colour that are now available, you can just go and give him some definition by adding some shadow tones, I guess. To get this colour I used 2 drops of yellow and 1 drop of copper, and I think it looks amazing. So thanks guys, thanks for checking out my videos. Be sure to subscribe, drop us a comment, let me know what you think. Let us know what cakes you'd like to see in the future. Here's some of my other cakes. See you next Friday.